It's your 27th birthday, you're another year older, and you think about all the things you've done and accomplished, and you've come to the realization that you haven't really achieved anything. All your friends are being more successful in life than you, whether it's in their professional life or in their social life, and if you want to be successful in what you're passionate about, you must be more disciplined, more talented, and 100 times more dedicated than your peers. But what if you had the best in what you do alongside you, tutoring and lending you talents so you can become the man, the myth, the legend? Because that's exactly what Shiori experience is about, and might be one of the most impactful manga I've ever read. And I'm going to talk about why you should read this manga, because this manga is very underrated and not very well known. In fact, this manga doesn't even have an official English translation or any type of worldwide distribution. The story is about Shiori Honda, a 26-year-old English teacher of Mitsubishi High School living a boring and uneventful life. Back during her high school days, she got a guitar from her older brother for her 17th birthday. She wanted to be a musician, a rock star, make music that could emotion anyone who listens to her music. But after her brother walked out of the family to become a rock star, leaving a huge amount of debt, her father forbids her from pursuing her music career, which leads her to her adult life living in a monotonous and unfulfilled way without getting any kind of respect. One day, out of nowhere, she gets haunted by none other than the greatest guitar player of all time, Jimi Hendrix. With Jimi being attached to Shiori, she's able to play exactly like him whenever she gets plugged in with a jack cable that comes from Jimi. But with such an extraordinary ability comes with a catch. Shiori must become a legend before her days of being 27 are up, or she will die. Oh! And why specifically the number 27? The number 27 is related to the 27 Club, a group of famous musicians who died at the age of 27. Their deaths are caused by the superstition that genius musicians die at the age of 27. Going back to Shiori, she has turned 27, so she has exactly 1 year before her time is up. And in order to become this successful musician, she starts a band in the form of the Light Music Club. All of the members being students from her school who she meets along the way, and you know the saying, as you can tell, the premise is pretty much simple and straightforward. It's a character-driven story centered around the idea of following your passion despite being put down by other people. The manga is still ongoing. Each chapter has like 50 pages and usually released every month. That is, if the guy translating the manga wants to, because sometimes it can take a while till we get a new chapter. All the main characters have an integral part in the plot, so much that each single member of the band have their own dedicated arc, taking a couple of episodes telling their backstory, how they ended up joining the band, getting better at playing their instruments, because to get to the top, it takes more than just playing Wonderwall, Smoke on the Water, or Seven Nation Army.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last.
All the characters are based on archetypes you usually found in any high school anime. We have the delinquent girl with the heart of gold, the popular captain of the baseball team, the Genki girl, the weird shy girl, and Prince. I'm not kidding, that's what everybody calls him. But beyond this facade of mere archetypes, these characters go through struggles that for anyone who starts reading it will say, damn, I've been through that. To better illustrate all of this, allow me to take a random through the main characters. Isuthu is the first member in joining the band. Before, she was part of the Mitsubishi Campus Orchestra as a sax player, but was kicked out for not meeting their standards. After her failure, she started to lose her motivation for music and got bullied by her classmates, and it was at this moment when Shiori shows her how fun music can be that she began playing again and joins the Light Music Club as the first member. Daiba was captain of the baseball team, really popular and had a girlfriend, but he was living his life trying to appeal to others by trying to meet everyone's expectations without expressing how he really feels. His real passion is listening to Western music and drumming, which he had to hide it from his friends and his own dad, who was the coach of the baseball team, which adds more pressure on him. Daiba felt he wasn't living up to the words of Kubota, the man who taught him how to play drums and introduced him to classic rock music of the likes of course, Jimi Hendrix. So when he sees Shiori standing up against her dad for her passion, it gave Daiba the guts to express his real feelings and stand up against his father, and to even break up with his superficial girlfriend, losing all of his friends and teammates to join the light music club. But at the end of the day, he learned that if you're lying to yourself just to fit in with people who are shallow and don't appreciate you for who you are, then you shouldn't be friends in the first place. The other three members are Satski, Shinobu, and Prince, but I won't talk about the latter since this character arc contains spoilers that are quite important to the plot. Shinobu and Satski were childhood friends, also passionate about music, Shinobu on the keyboard and Satski with singing. Due to unfortunate events, the school reaching to wrong conclusions over an assault on Shinobu, accusing Satski as the perpetrator based on prejudices and rumors, tears their friendship apart. After that, Satsuki gave up on singing and picked up the bass guitar and becomes a delinquent. When Shinobu joins the light music club, she and the rest of the band perform a song from their childhood days non-stop to remind Satsuki of their friendship and to never give up on singing. Whenever she feels happy or sad, she would express those feelings by singing, and with that, the two of them officially joined the band. Much of the chapters of the manga follow a similar structure to some shonen series such as One Piece when it started ages ago, where we introduce one character, we follow their story, and they join the band in the pursuit of their dreams. There is no single member of the band that I've found unlikable. They all feel human. Everybody has these little insecurities and anxieties that they have to overcome. If there is something all these characters share, is that all their stories are centered around the idea on how people can lose their motivation, whether they messed up in the past, pursuing an unfulfilling path because a family member doesn't approve and just wants you to stick with a more traditional, stable job, or putting aside your real feelings just to meet others' expectations. But it's also about getting up on your feet, keep moving forward, and do what you wanna do because life is very short. But just because you've started following your dreams doesn't mean that what you're going to do is gonna be a 3-minute Jumbo King speedrun. This manga, the grind is brutal. This manga gave me low-key vibes to the movie Whiplash in how they present the constant struggle to greatness, hours upon hours of practice to the point of having bruises and blood, which as a guitar player myself I do not recommend because that would mean you're probably doing something wrong. Our main characters takes loads of L's aside from facing their insecurities and anxieties. The entire school hates them, most of the people who were interested in joining the club left due to their bad reputation, their club room gets trashed, hell, nobody gave two shits on their first live performance.
Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down.
They come to the realization that if they want to become the ultimate Giga Chad of rock and roll, they must stop being a happy-go-lucky friends band and start taking things seriously, improve at their instruments, and quit making forgettable half-assed songs. And to reinforce what I've just said here, I'm going to talk about this one moment of the manga that captures the essence of the story. Shiori is trying to write a song while being trained by Jimi Hendrix with the limited time of 1 week to present the song to the rest of the band and get ready for the battle of the bands. For several grueling days, Hendrix would put Shiori into such a brutal training that would make her hate the guitar. She started practicing scales, correcting her technique, listening to music to get more input for inspiration. Shiori tried various ways to come up with an original song. She came up with different ideas only to receive the same feedback from the greatest guitarist of all time. It's shit. Shiori's running out of time and still hasn't come out with a song. An idea comes out. It seems that this has to be it. She goes running to show Hendrix her idea. It's shit. Discouragement and desperation is growing within her. It's shit. Beyond shit. 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 Shiori has finally come to the breaking point. She grabs her guitar, about to smash it into the ground with all the pent-up frustration with no hope left. But suddenly, her bandmates, her older brother, and even her younger self comes to the scene and reminds Shiori the reason she's doing all of this. Shiori comes back to her senses and proceeds to keep playing and loses herself into the deep. The final day to make the song has arrived. She is in a rainy landscape full of guitars, And this is the last chance to show Hendrix the fruits of her work. Shiori came to the realization that all the grueling training was never a living hell at all, but a heaven where her bandmates are waiting for her, and at the same time, a guitar god is teaching her one-on-one lessons. She then proceeds to play the song she's been working on for a full week. Her playing is so powerful that swipes the entire field of guitars and clears the sky. Hendrix, with a very serious look on his face, gives his final verdict in which he says, "That was some great shit." Shiori has finally made a song that got the seal of approval of the greatest guitar player of all time. Reading this chapter for the first time, I got such a reaction of many different emotions and was a powerful way to portray how hard it is and how absorbed you can be playing an instrument. Again, it's not the most elaborated story, but the way how this manga goes in depth into how it's the creative process, the frustration that comes with it, the way it brings you into how it feels to be in the zone when playing an instrument are the main reasons why this manga caught so much of my attention, and part of this is because of the art style. One of the things that you'll immediately find when you first look at the manga is how well the panels are drawn. Given the nature of the medium, it's obviously impossible to communicate how everything sounds like because, well, there's no sound. So the way to go was showing intensity through facial expressions and visual metaphors. If you want the audience/reader to grasp how it feels to be in the shoes of a player in the field, or in this case, a musician playing live, it's all about the visual metaphors. It can be from something so simple like Hajime no Ippo with the jet engine in the Dempsey role, to iShield 21 giving over-the-top visual elements for any mundane action. This guy is not only running, he's running faster than the speed of light. And I get it, sometimes we need an artistic license to portray and exaggerate some action so the audience can relate it to a feeling. With Shiori Experience happens something similar. The panels portray the music as this force of nature that explodes and surrounds everyone who's there, implying that what they're listening to is the most awesome thing they've ever heard. From earthquakes, shockwaves cutting through anything in the way, to freaking typhoons, and let's not forget how badass the guitar poses look. It perfectly captures the energy of a concert really well. The manga takes any musical event and turns it up to 11. Putting that aside, I like how this manga can get quite experimental with some of the chapters in terms of its visual storytelling, like panels taking the form of characters or one entire chapter told with the same shot. But the best thing I have encountered is this whole training montage chapter on Satski. But what makes it different is that it comes with a song which you can play along with your phone or whatever you have while reading it, since it comes with lyrics to guide you during the reading. And talking about listening, I still haven't talked about the main thing about this manga: the music. The manga is a love letter to rock and roll, with many references to famous events in rock history, like Hendrix burning his guitar at Monterey Pop Festival, or performing in Woodstock 1969, or playing a cover of Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band in front of the Beatles. One thing I found really hilarious is this moment where Jimmy sees what happened to music after he died, the Rolling Stones being now freaking old, or discovering new music like rap or electronic music. I don't want to imagine Jimi Hendrix listening to reggaeton. But the icing on the cake is seeing the main characters covering legendary songs like Purple Haze by, of course, Jimi Hendrix, or Daydream Believer by the Monkees. But how about Jimi Hendrix playing Smells Like Teen Spirit with freaking Kurt Cobain?
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Yes, Kurt Cobain also appears in this manga, and one could say, damn, this is good, I want this manga to be adapted into an anime. But I find it unlikely that Shiori Experience will get an anime adaptation. And that reason is because of DMCA. If there is any studio animation who wants to attempt to adapt this manga, they would probably have to put up with lots of strict copyright laws. Just to show you how bad the situation with DMCA is, royalty-free music had to be played over a Metallica's official concert on Twitch. The music industry will try to milk anyone dry just to get as much money as possible. So if any anime studio wants to make Shiori Experience into an anime, they would have to pay massive amounts of money for licensing fees for each song and spending the majority of the production's budget. Shiori Experience is a great series for anyone who's ever created something. a love letter to music, a look into the creative process, the amount of grind you have to put in your pursuits, the dynamics of a band. Again, it's a simple story about a band trying to make it big, completely character driven. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
The One Piece is real!
Can we get much higher? So high.
Yes, I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. This is a piece of work that specifically caters to my taste. Making music is hard. No one is good at it the first time you try. Even with the help of Jimi Hendrix, the Light Music Club goes through many struggles where all the characters discover that if they want to make a breakthrough, they must take things seriously and keep practicing their skills. And this not only applies to music, but to anything. This is the part where I relate the most with this manga. You're going to make garbage videos until one day somehow works out. Things will fall in place, but it requires a tremendous amount of effort to get there. That's what I'm doing with my videos. That's what the characters in this manga do. Nothing hits as hard as life. Even so, people will try to the bitter end. A manga like this was never going to be massively popular or go down as a critically acclaimed cult classic, but it's a series filled up with passion, with so many great moments that never fails to give me goosebumps, and a thematic that speaks to my love for music. We still have to wait to see in what direction the story will go further down the line, and I can't wait to see what comes next.